I'm gonna be honest, we can't limit success to 3 books, right? If you want to be successful, you have to always keep learning. Like at least read like 1 hour a day. You have to always keep learning and always keep implementing every single day. You have to produce way more than you learn, alright? You really have to learn every single day, but you have to produce things at least 2 times more than you learn. Like if you learn 1 hour, you should work at least 2 hours on a certain project or whatever you want, working out or whatever. But if you learn and you don't implement things, it's a waste of time. Actually, it's not really true. You know, everyone says that. The thing is, learning is important because when you learn, you know, your thinking patterns, they change. Your belief systems, they all change when you learn. And that's a really good thing because you just start to really understand things differently, and it can be really important because it can change your mindset. Even though nothing really changes like in your life materialistically, it changes in your head, and that really affects every single thing in your life. But what I mean is, if you read a book, like an actionable book, like a book where there's a lot of things that you can implement to really improve your life, if you just read it start to finish and then you just throw the book away and never think about it anymore, nothing really good is gonna happen for you. Like maybe your belief system is gonna change, maybe you're gonna implement some things that you learned in the book, but your life is just not gonna change. What you should do, the good way to read a book is you read start to finish, you change like all your belief systems. And a system that I love is I call it the daily learning objective. I learned that from Hamza. You put a daily learning objective on top of your timetable like that. If you don't have a timetable, I would recommend that you just copy paste exactly what I did right there to really like plan your day. And then you just put the daily learning objective on top of that. And what you do is every single morning, every evening, whatever, every day, just every day, that's what matters. You go into one of your book, you read a little bit, like you scan a certain chapter and you implement the thing and you write the thing that you want to implement today. When you did the thing, like check it. Just check it so that it's done. You know, you just implemented the things and let the objective there until you master it. So that's really the way like successful people read. Also, when for instance a businessman is working on a certain project, when he needs something, he will just take a book, like let's say he will take this book and he will just like search in a certain chapter exactly what he needs. Like he won't just read the book start to finish, he will just search in the chapters what he needs, he will read it a little bit, oh alright, like he will just search what he needs basically, because that's what like non-fiction books are made for. It's made to really like help us. It's self-help book, like it's a book that teaches us how to do certain things. That's how you should read them. And I don't want to waste any more of your time. The first book that really changed my life is Can't Hurt Me, alright, from David Goggins. That's a really, really good book. That's the first book that I read. I read it when I was in secondary 5 in high school. Secondary 4. No, I read it when I was in secondary 5, 5th grade. I don't know if that's how it's called. That's a book where David Goggins just speaks about his life and how he went through like his traumas and all that, and how like he was a really traumatized kid and he came from this to the hardest man on the planet, and how he did that is through hardcore discipline. If you read his book and you implement this kind of discipline, your life is really gonna change. Because the thing is, this book, there's not really like he gives something that you can implement, but I think what can really change your life is simply the understanding of how discipline works. Because this guy understands 100% like how discipline works and the mindset that comes with it. And discipline is really the basic in life. Like there's a lot of systems that you can implement in your life to change it, but discipline is really the thing that will really change your life the most. The second book that I read is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So when I read Can't Hurt Me, right now I read every single day 1 hour a day. But when I read Can't Hurt Me, I didn't read for like 2 years. I didn't read for like 2 years because I didn't know I was actually in self-improvement and that I could actually do some reading and things like that to improve faster. I just was disciplined and worked on my things, I didn't do really a lot of self-improvement things. But this book, I read it like not even a year ago, and that's the first book that I read when I really started to understand that I was on self-improvement. And I would really recommend that to be the first book that you read, because it's really like a step-by-step book, like to how to become like, yes, effective, but just effective in every single thing in your life. Like, it's a book that will just educate you. Like this, it's a book about like social skills, taking care of your health, fixing your relationships, becoming better at your work, planning your day. Like, there's basically everything. Like Stephen R. Covey, is a really like smart guy. Like, you will see like how he reads. He's really smart, and he also has one of his sons that kept on his company, and they're really intelligent people, and he just broke down basically step by step what you need in your life to become like the best version of yourself, basically, in what you do. And that's really well explained, and I really recommend you this book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's the second book. I just read it. I read it right after the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Like, how people on self-improvement, what they say is, Dale Carnegie is like the godfather of self-improvement. It's like the first guy that really like made a book on like some things that you can improve in your life, because the book is really old, by the way. Like, Discover is not, but the book is really old. So really, Dale Carnegie is the godfather of self-improvement. He's the first guy that really got out there, did all his research when there wasn't anything about self-improvement, and made a book about it, on things that we can improve on. And so How to Win Friends and Influence People, that's a really good book with a lot of actionable steps. And that's like one of the easiest books to implement, because there's all the principles in the book about social skills in a nutshell, and you can just write the principle like in your daily learning objective like that, and just you scan a little bit the chapter, and then you implement it and you check it when you're done for the day. And so you do that every single day. You just implement something in the book, and your social skills are gonna skyrocket. I'm just telling you, like, social skills, maybe you're not someone that really want to improve his social skills. It's really important. Like, if you want to be like an entrepreneur or whatever it is, just in life, it's really important to have good social skills, because you can live without good social skills. It's just that firstly, you just feel way better when you have good social skills. You just get more into a social flow, and that's really a nice thing to feel. And just when you have good social skills, people will want to do business more with you. People will want to like take you in their, like, you will apply for jobs, and it will be way easier to get into them because you will have good social skills. You will smile, you will have good mannerism, you will listen well to the person, you will have a good empathy and things like that. So it's really important. And also, this book teaches you how to be a good leader, so that if you really master all the principles in the book, what's going to happen is, if you're a CEO, a boss, or whatever, your employees are just going to love you, man, and you're just going to make way more profit and things like that. Because when people love you and you're the guy that really manages the things, well, the productivity goes way more up. Like, it goes through the roof, because people are just way more motivated, because as a leader, what you learn in this book is to motivate people. But also, it's just gonna help you in life. Like, if you have bad relationships, if you want to meet new people, if you master these principles, it's gonna be really easy. But unfortunately, the way to master these principles is to go out there with bad social skills and try to understand the principles and really train them. So at first you're gonna have bad social skills, maybe you're gonna get rejected and things like that. That's just the way it is. But you really like try and understand them and do them, and it's not that hard. What you have to do is only to be consistent, and simply like it's really not that hard. What's really hard is to go out there and actually take action. But to understand this principle, it's really not that hard. So these were the 3 books that really, I think, had the most impact on my life. Like, if I didn't read one of these 3 books, like How to Influence and Influence People, really helped me to become a better listener in life. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People 2. I really learned to really take a better care of my health so that I can be more productive. It helped me too to make a timetable, like really plan my days. And how he explains it is not to plan your days, but to plan your actions and everything, your projects, not in days, but in weeks, even in months and in years. All right, so it's really, really effective when you plan your things like that. And Can Hurt Me is really the book that, like, that's the book that got me started, basically. That's the first book that I read, like, in my life, about really a non-fiction books. Like, actually, I read a non-fiction book before, but it was like feminine stuff. Like, I didn't at all like connect with that. So really, I would like consider it the first really non-fiction book that I read, and it really helped me to understand discipline and implement it in my life. And again, right now in my life, sometimes I have flashbacks of this book when I feel like sometimes it's hard, whatever. I think about David Goggins and everything that he did and how he saw discipline, and every single time my discipline becomes stronger. Discipline is really the first thing that you need. Like, that's basic. If you don't have discipline, you can't do anything. Get these 3 books, read them how I just taught you how to read them, and implement them, and your life is just gonna change. You read these 3 books, and you also read a lot of other books. I can do, if you love this kind of content, I can do other videos about that. I have a lot of books, and just there's a lot of them that changed my life. So continually learn, but produce way more. You read these books, your life is gonna change.